Hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, episode 17. And it is back to Opal City for Jack and for us because he has saved the day at the circus and beaten Mr. Bliss last issue. So this is kind of like a bridge episode in a TV show or in a comic where there's stuff that happens and it's a great read, but also it starts setting us up for the next great battle. And it's well worth our time. So let's get through the stats on this lovely comic. It is Starman Volume 2, number 9. It was published on May 16th, 1995. So long ago. It was cover dated July 1995. Executive editor was Jeanette Kahn. Hoo-hoo. Cover artist Tony Harris. It's a great cover. It's the two Starmen, Ted and Jack, watching a chemical fire. Literally what the cover is. The story is written by, of course, James Robinson, penciled by Tony Harris, amazing inks by Wayne Von Grawbadger. Colorist Gregory Wright, letterers the amazing John Workman, editors Archie Goodwin and Chuck Kim. The short but sweet synopsis in the DC Wiki is Ted Knight tells Jack the story of how he and the Justice Society fought a villain called Ragdoll, and now they killed him after he threatened their families. Elsewhere, in the city, Nash escapes from prison. All right, there's a little more to this comic than those two sentences. The featured characters in this are Starman Jack Knight, his dad Ted Knight, and the Shade. The Shade is on the prowl. He's trying to solve a mystery. You get to see a little bit about Michael Thomas, Matt O'Dare of the O'Dare family, and his connection to the first sheriff of Opal City. A mention of some Justice Leaguers, Flash, Green Lantern, Hourman, Doc Midnight. But that's going to come up in two Jack episodes from now, when me and the amazing Dave Steele talk about The Next Time's Past. We have already recorded it in April, but we just got ahead, and it's coming up in about 6 weeks, and you'll enjoy it. And there's a little more stuff about the circus folk, and that's about it. This was reprinted originally in the Starman Night and Day trade. I did see that they did. I had the trades up to about the last 3. And then I never got them. And then I thought they never printed them. But I just saw someone selling an entire set for a pricey amount. But it is a lot of trades, and they are out of print. The whole run is done. And it's also in the Starman Omnibus Volume 1 and now the Compendium Volume 1. In this story mentions Allen. It should be, and they spelled it wrong. Allen. It's Alan. And let's get on to this. I've read this twice in the last 2 days. I really enjoyed it. I love the splash one. I do love the cover, but it is basically, I think it's inferred in this cover that Jack has accidentally set some chemicals on fire, and Ted is judging his stupid son, and Jack looks like, oops, I screwed up face. But it's fun. We cut to the splash pages is Jack being surrounded by Michael and the other people of the circus. The narration is basically just saying that he's left and come back. He comes back twice, once to collect Michael. He, as it says on the second page, wants to collect Michael, he of the blue skin and alien tongue. In the Shade's journal, there's even word of him. He had lived in Opal City in the 70s. His name had been Starman, then more a nickname than a title, and so feeling Michael a predecessor in some way, Jack felt protective of him. And he takes him to his dad, and then Jack mentions that him and Octavia have a very passionate one-night stand, and it is nothing more than that. And Jack likes the circus, and he likes it. And the farmers like them. I mean, the farmer lets them rent a piece of land and to live there cheaply. But Jack, as he says, Jack would return there from time to time. He knew, but not for a while. He had a life to get on with, after all. and a city all his own to live in. And then then the next thing we catch is he fighting three gangsters. These are hoods. I'm going to call these hoods or thugs. They're not real gangsters. They're just three idiots trying to rob the Opal Savings and Loan. And he's enjoying it. It's a nice action sequence. One page is just him being held up by his cosmic staff and knocking some dude in the head, and then cutting the legs out from a guy with an Uzi, and then a third guy who's wearing a ragdoll mask. And all this time is Jack is in his normal leather jacket, his goggles, but he's wearing a ragman shirt, and that's gonna come up. That's where the story that I mentioned earlier will come up. But he knocks these guys out, and then he goes and tells his dad about it. And he's talking to his dad about how he's starting to get a kick from. I now understand it. This high he gets from the fights, because that he feels he's done some good. He's getting bad guys off the street. And Ted tells him, well, that's a start. That good feeling. You can't quite define it, can you? If you had to break it down for someone, you couldn't. And he goes, yes, I could. Don't tell me what. Maybe you're right at that, Pop. And then Ted says, it's addictive, son. That alone is enough for some to don the colored costumes and run around like idiots. And talking of garments, I noticed you're wearing that T-shirt. The one I know I don't like. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Sorry. Well, at least it's nothing malicious. I wasn't trying to get my old man riled. No, I have a lot on my mind. I forgot you know how that can happen if anyone does. Yes, son. I know. And he talks about it. And then that's where Ted tells about he wants to talk about the ragdoll, and I think he's getting to it. And it's kind of like when people wore the Che Guevara T-shirts. I guess it was when I was younger, and it pissed off a lot of old people because they saw this socialist, radical, revolutionary's face, and it was, I grew up in the Cold War, and it pissed some people off. And then there was Charles Manson shirt. He's not a pop icon. He's not a cultural icon. He's a fucking murderer. And that pissed off a lot of people. The Che Guevara I don't get. That's, some people have left leanings and he's a hero to them. I get that. Manson, I didn't get, and I understood why it pissed people off. And that's kind of what this is. This Ragdoll, because Ragdoll was a vicious killer. And you're going to know, we find out more about him. He was a petty thief, and then he was a cult leader. And that comes up in issue 10. And his father just reminisces. And it's this great conversation between father and son. And he's telling him about a dark time. The city was scared. You could taste it and smell it, the fear. I don't want that, not for Opal. My friends came in. There were 5 of us, Jack. 5 of us. Jay, Alan, Rex, Chuck, and me. Jay and then he tells him what happened. And when he walks by, what I love is when he tells about the death of Ragdoll, and you see him pass a mannequin with his costume on it. And they're talking about Michael, but it's just a nice layout of panels. Tony Harris is amazing. And he, Jack, to make up to his dad, says, hey, I'm going to make you this new steamed crab in ginger and garlic for him and Michael, and we'll have a good time. Then we cut away to an alley in Opal City, and a police officer named Bigsy is being attacked by these red, demonic-looking bees, and they're flies, and he gets sucked into the poster, and which says Lord of the Flies, and then this man with a scarf over his mouth, bald head, and a beard. That's not me. His beard's black. And he wraps up the poster, and off he goes. What he doesn't realize is that the Shade's been watching him, and he's intrigued. We get another page, a whole page of Jack just bartering, $40-$60 for a phone of some sort, and board. 20, which he has to pay the guy $60, $25 for some ties and some shoes. Lady gets $45. I think they're starting to realize this guy's Starman, and they're going to milk him. $112 for some books, $100.50, said the lady, and 99 cents for a cup of coffee at a street vendor. And this old guy in a paper hat says $7. $7. And then we cut to Michael O'Dare, and he's shaking down some guy for some money. And then the middle panel is the original Scalp Hunter, as he was called. He was a Western character, but he becomes the first sheriff of Opal City. And then we see him, O'Dare, getting some drugs out of evidence for somebody or something up. And then he's eating with a mobster who's telling him someone he has to go beat up and get some money from him. And all during this is there flashbacks to the adventures of Scalp Hunter. And O'Dare he's a troubled man. He's drinking too much. He's smoking too much. And then we get Nash. She's sitting in her prison cell. And it's got this great first sentence, I think. And it says, Nash never dreamed of the kind of person she could be, nor how quickly that change would occur since the death of her brother Kyle and the mental breakdown of her father, her beloved father, the Mist. From stuttering child to, what would the word be? Nash ponders the right word indeed. For her, changes were many and wide, villainous, not yet, but soon, hopefully fully. Killer? No. Again, not yet. Seductress? Yes. 3 guards, 2 inmates within a few months. So she has cultivated a group of followers who will do her bidding, and they get her out of prison. And when they find her cell empty, it says, Jack, it's written above the entrance is, Jack is to blame, die, die, Starman. And then we just see her walking free on the streets of Opal City. And then the last page is Jack just having a down night at house. And he's talking about watching, it's great. He talks about Sam Shepard. And I think that's cool because when I was a young theater person in the 80s and 90s, Shepard was the deal. I'm a big fan of Sam Shepard, man. I'll watch anything he's in. And I think he's a great playwright. He wrote some great plays. They're a little macho, but he was that kind of guy. But he's talking about Sam Shepard's 2 favorite movies. Double bill is Veracruz, which I've seen but do not remember at all, and Bad Day of Black Rat with Spencer Tracy, which is a frickin' masterpiece. And it is a good double bill. I think I would do it. And he has an anchovy pizza that is nasty. He's no Starman for me, not now. Because he's just going to have it as. Sigh, I am not mad at anyone. In 43 seconds, the phone will ring with news of Nash's escape. In an hour, the Shade will pay Jack a visit, which concerns of his own. There's a big, bad day and night in Jack's future, looming soon. And this is where the prelude starts, when Jack will wish he could jump into his TV screen and ride away with Gary Cooper. And it's a nice interlude. I like interlude issues. I think when a series is constructed well and written well, like Starman is, and Robinson and Harris are finding their groove, it's only issue 9, that you need these bridges. You had that quick little adventure in Turk County, and Jack's accepting of it being a hero. And I've always told people when I recommend this book that it is about doesn't want to be a hero, becomes a hero, likes being a hero, and decides that being a hero is ultimately his destiny. It's a great epic comic in that it is, because it is finite, it is 80 issues plus any auxiliary stuff, which makes it more. That this is a journey, and at times you're going to have these bridges between stories, and then you're going to have the side stories like Time Past and A Night with David. Everything adds to the mosaic of this tale. And this is just, I really enjoyed this issue. I gush, I do. I'm doing this podcast because I love this comic. And this is just a great one. And I will probably read a little ahead today. I have other things to read, and I'm going to talk to you at the end of the episode about that. But let's get on to our Ted story. It'll be short and sweet because these things are short and sweet. Let's get the pertinent data to this. We're getting this from Mike's Amazing World because I like him for the Golden Age stuff better. This is Adventure Comics 68, cover date November 1941, cover date October 1941. The war is just around the corner. Editor Murray Boltinoff. Title of the story is The Blaze of Doom. even though it didn't have one originally, but now they're giving it one. It's in the caption box. We'll get to that. Features Ted Knight of Earth 2, written by Alfred Bester, artist Jack Burnley. This has been reprinted only in the Golden Age Starman Archives Volume 1, 2000, which is how I am reading it. We're still in the era where Starman is always a cover art thing. It's a nice Jack Burnley cover. It has nothing to do with the story we're reading. But he's swinging. He's battling some guys on some high scaffolding, and it's pretty good, Jack Burnley. Then we cut to the title page, which I love it. When the angry scarlet flames transform the forest green kingdom into a blazing holocaust, the man of night defies the elements and quenches the fiery menace with whirlwind tactics. The blaze of doom. Starman, protected by the rays of his gravity rod, fights his way through a raging forest fire that threatens to destroy America's supply of timber. Dear God, how big's this fire? Okay? Gallant members of the U.S. Forest find themselves trapped in a fiery inferno. Go back! We can't get through this way! We're trapped! The flames have encircled us! And then Starman, not a minute to lose. Those flames are spreading fast. No time for explanations. I've got to get you and your companion out of this blazing forest. Who are you? I'll be back with the other ranger. And he rescues them. And then one of them tells him, we were hauling logs from one of the new army cantonments? I've never heard of that word. When a sedan carrying a couple of tough-looking yeggs went past. I have no idea what yeggs mean. Pardon me while I Google it. Okay, I'm back. I thought it was a racist comment, but the dictionary says it's a noun, informal, North American, plural noun, yeggs, is a burglar or safecracker. Let me see if there are any other definitions. One, it's something to do. Yeggs is the premier group of talented programmers, builders, artists producing Minecraft maps for Java realms. Okay, that's okay. Those are two totally different definitions. But he's talking. They saw some bad guys. And a few seconds after they passed, a fire broke out from the direction in which they came. They can't be far. The fire is spreading mighty fast. And they goes, that's enough of a clue for me. And off he flies. And he finds them. And they try to kill him, but the car runs out of control and it starts to fall. But he saves it with his gravity rod. He knocks one guy out and throws him. And, well, he doesn't knock him out. He just kind of hurls him. Little leverage and knocks out the other guy. And, they got orders from a guy named Classy. His name is Classy at the Lumber Peak camp. And then we flash back a few hours, and at the Lumber Peak Hotel, Ted Knight and Doris Lee are basking in the sunshine. Doris is looking very good in her one piece, and Ted's a delicate flower. He's wearing a Speedo and a sweatshirt. I guess he feigns a reason to get out of the sun because that's the gravity rod was vibrating. And anyway, Doris is going to hang out with a dude named Bill Baxter. Bill Baxter is a swarthy kind of guy and realizes Doris' uncle, Chief Allen, has summoned Starman about the fires. And then we go back to the point of where we started, and he's looking for Classy. And Classy is a big, lumberjack. He's a big dude with some muscles and a nice green shirt and purple pinstripe pants. And he swings an axe at Starman, who grabs it from him. When he punches Classy in the neck. He breaks the hatchet, and he takes care of Classy. And then more guys come, and he takes care of all them. He uses gravity rod to pull Classy, and Classy's like, "Please don't hit me, please. Honest, I know the big boss. He sends me notes," and it's not him, so he flies off. So long, Classy. I'll see you, because he's got a ledger. He's got the ledger, which is great. And then he gives it to Alan, and you find out Bill Baxter is Classy boss. And he has Doris, and he's taking her on a high-speed motorboat in the lake or in the river, whatever it is. He's holding her gunpoint, and then Starman hears on the radio, "Calling Starman, Doris Lee has been kidnapped. She's being held captive near Regal Point." And off he goes. He finds the boat. She's unconscious. And what he doesn't realize is that Bill has loaded the boat to explode, and he puts on the plunger, and there's an explosion, and they're thrown into the air and land in the water, and he drives off. Bill gets back to the camp where the FBI are guarding his goons. He shoots two of them, frees his goons. Starman rescues Doris, and then off he goes. But his cosmic rod was broken. I forgot about this. So he sees the car coming. He's trying to flag. He thinks it's, they see him and they think his cosmic rods are working, and they're like, pull over. He stops the car because they're all afraid. Baxter isn't, but he gets pulled out of the car, gets knocked out, and he's happy to capture another spy and servitor. The last panel is Doris scolding Ted, who is Starman's changed back into it, and she goes, why, Ted? Where have you been? You missed the excitement. God, this is so Clark and Lois. You've missed all the excitement. He goes, I took a nap. I feel fine now. So that's the end of Ted's adventure in Adventure Comics 67. I'm really enjoying these. They are very good Golden Age comics for me. I think the art is stellar. It is really reminds me of adventure news strips of the 40s. That's fine. It's pre-war still. I think Jack Burnley's stuff is amazing. I think Alfred Besser writes a really nice little pulp story. It's not too stupid. They are kind of more formulaic. We see comics comics have changed, and it's all part of the process of art's evolution. And in this medium, these are very good for their time. I think it's really good, and I enjoyed it. It's fun, and it's just fun to touch on these. Next week is more Will Payton, and I've changed kind of the order because as reading the last issue we did, which was 4, that 5 isn't an immediate after 4. It's after the first issue of Invasion. So what I'm going to do with the next 3 Payton ones is I'm going to do the issue of Invasion and then his issue. And then for 3 issues. And I think that's kind of appropriate because they were trying to pull him toward the forefront in a new book and made him have some big adventures in this crossover. So I'm going to give it, and I haven't read Invasion in years. It's got the Dominators, the Cuds, the Canuds, and it's drawn by a very young Todd McFarlane. I really like his early art. It's his later stuff. It's good. It's not my cup of tea. And also this Friday, this Thursday should be the next Legion story, but it may not be. My wife has been nice enough to be she is going to be my guest on my next episode of Gallifrey's Most Wanted, where we'll be covering the season 6 2-parter. She did a little homework, but I made her have to jump around, so she's a little nervous, but I think she's going to be great. And so that will go up this Sunday. And if you're a Doctor Who fan and you're listening to my fan, why don't you give it a listen and then say nice things about my wife on Twitter at Gallifrey's MW Pod. And next, so I may not do a Legion one on Thursday. I may or may not. I've already recorded this weekend's, which will be Justice Society of America Volume 4, Number 4, and All-Star Comics 35, the first appearance of Paradegaton. And I hope you're enjoying my coverage of Stargirl The Lost Children, which is over. And I hope you're enjoying my Danger Street first issue special and my Justice Society and whatever I max with it. I'm enjoying doing these, and I know not everybody's a Jeff Dawn fan, not everybody's a Tom King fan. I think these are, but what I'm covering is things I think you could be on board for give them a try. I think with Justice Society, I think I'm enjoying it a great deal, but I'm waiting for the payoff. We got a couple more issues. But it's moving in a direction I like. I like all the different Justice Societies we're seeing throughout history. I don't think we're going to see what's set in now team until this story's over. Does Helena go back to her own time, or does she become a hero out of time? And stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're enjoying and listening to it. And thanks for being patient when I take breaks at the last minute. Work, life, busy. I do these really the day of or the day before because I want them. That's the way I work. So I hope you're enjoying them. But folks, check us out. Let's talk about my spending problem. I'm going to read Invincibles for the first... Well, I've read the first 2 arcs of Invincible because I had the first 4 trades at one point. So I guess that's the first 4 arcs. I have bought all 3 of the compendiums. I will probably sometime next month get the World of Invincibles compendium because it's something I want to read. I've been bargain hanging on eBay, and I got my Justice League Omnibus 1, which is the 3 Brave and the Bolds and the first 30 issues in one volume, and Batman Annuals Volume 2. I got that for like $30 for both of them. It's great. The annuals I'm going to go look at tonight after I finish editing and post that, because there's some great stuff in there from the Silver Age, and I like that era of Batman a lot. And I've gotten Tom Strong top 10. I'm really been getting into compendiums on top of my omnibus things. I've ordered the Steve Englehart, the 3rd Captain America omnibus with Bronze Age stuff, and it's the Englehart stuff, and because it's Englehart, I got it, and it was $27. So stuff like that. So I'm enjoying. I may cover that because it is Captain America and Falcon. And it's Steve Englehart, and I just love Steve Englehart, and I haven't really done... Well, I did a lot of Defenders. I did his Defenders run, and I do want to kind of touch base on his Avengers run, and I will do that when the 5th Omnibus comes out, and I'm going to probably find someone who wants to guest with me, and we'll talk about that era. So that's it for this week, folks. As always, I appreciate you listening. Please like, share the show. Please comment on I'm not the most engaging. Well, I'm not the most witty person and verbose person on Twitter, because I'm careful, and I'm a bad typist. I get fussed at work because my emails are crap, and so sometimes I'm a little nervous about it. But reach out, please engage. There are some of you that have really engaged, and I appreciate it. Please spread the love for the podcast. I would appreciate that. I have a Ko-Fi, so buy me a cup of coffee to keep me stimulated while I'm editing. I could use it. It's just the little things I would like to be able to pay my streaming fee someday with help of you guys. I'm not smart enough to be a Patreon person, so just buy me a cup of coffee. That'll help, and I would appreciate. And please like and leave a review where you listen to your podcasts. I really would appreciate it. Like, share on YouTube, please, because build up that. I know I've been doing this for almost 2 years, or a year and a half, and I still haven't done any live videos. I've just been nervous, and I need the bandwidth to learn how to do it. So that's coming up. Please check out, I was just on Justice Trek with Ken. I've done 2 episodes. One's dropped, one be coming up. An episode was on Fantastic Comic Fan just dropped, which oh good goodness. Me and Ron talk about the death of Iris Allen. And we've got another one coming up on Thursday. And I will post that. But until then, folks, let me let you go. And as always, be smart, be safe. Please be kind to one another. All right? Be conscious of your neighbor and watch their back. There's a lot of negative stuff going on in the world, and we should be holding people up, not knocking them down. And read some comics. They're good for the mental health.